If we will have any other friend attending our meeting, he's very welcome, okay, during our process. Let me first welcome you, Dr. Kazan. We are very glad that you are ready to share with us your experiences and your good practices on implementing a similar as ours project related to food waste. We are representing a consortium working in Cyprus 1 year now, and we aim to implement the first Pan-Cyprian. I see another friend coming from Hungary, Dorko Anna Maria. Natasha, can you please open your camera, if you wish? So I'm continuing, and I'm also trying to bring in Dorko Anna Maria. It's a first ambitious effort, I would say, in Dr. Kazan. We are implementing in Cyprus to bring into the surface the huge effort to reduce food waste in our small island. We definitely appreciate your experiences in implementing your project, and maybe we will have the chance to discuss a bit freely and open the challenges you faced and the challenges we are facing in Cyprus. Good afternoon, Anna Maria, if you hear us.
Yeah, I can hear you now. Good afternoon.
So, good afternoon from Cyprus. So this is few words from myself. I will introduce all our partners in the project, starting from Marios Papageorgiou in the corner up to the left. Marios is representing the Cyprus Federation of Employees and Industrialists, our partner in the industry. Riman Beshtawi is part of my team, Opinion and Action. We are working mainly in the field of communication. Anastasia Elina and Kyriakos Parpounas are our experts in a consulting private firm on food waste. And Anastasios Zographos and Anna Evgeniou represent the lead partner, Dias Publishing, a huge media outlet in Cyprus. And finally, Natasha Ioannou is representing our NGO, namely the Friends of Earth Cyprus branch. These are the few words I want to say about our partnership. Please, the floor is yours to introduce your partners and your project.
Thank you very much, Kyriakos, and thank you very much for inviting us for this introduction. And before I start the presentation, I wanted to say that I'm really happy to be here, and I would enjoy some certain possibilities for future cooperation, because the floor is open for starting international projects, and I could see on your webpage that there are some similar efforts you are up to, and we also would like to go on with our project, which is called WASTELess. Now I try to share my screen. Yeah, I can. Yeah. Is it in full screen mode, or should I?
It is
Yes.
in full screen mode. It's easy. It's not in full screen mode, but it's easy to read it. You can go ahead.
Maybe this time
Yes,
it works. Okay.
that's perfect.
So I work in the National Food Chain Safety Office, which is a food safety authority in Hungary. Its responsibilities cover the whole food chain from the soil protection up to the retail and catering industries. Of course, we also deal with agriculture and food industry, food processing factories as well. And we started to deal with consumer issues in 2012. There was a policy change, and since that time we put a lot of effort onto risk communication. So we also deal with consumer level issues. We are very active in the media, releasing press material in every second day, and usually we receive 3 media inquiries daily, which we press ourselves to give answers within 24 hours. So we try to keep a very good contact with the national media. As a result of this openness and transparency and instant answers to media questions, and of course I would like to believe that for the professional work as well, we became a well-known and quite popular institution in Hungary, as it was reinforced by a recent EFSA study. We are facing similar problems like every other countries in Europe, namely the huge amount of food waste, especially concentrated in the household sector. And as being a famous or well-known institution in the food chain, we started to get questions from media workers, journalists about food waste reduction. And we learned the lesson that for every complex problem, there is an answer that is clear, simple, and usually wrong. So we found it to be true very well. We received many questions about why not to give the leftovers to poor people from catering to poor people, why not to give expired food to people in need, or why not to give all restaurant leftovers to animals, and why destroying the confiscated food products. So in every question like that, there is a core of truth, but you just can't give catering leftovers to people in need because of food safety risks. So there should be some good practices for that we thought, and we have formulated the project WASTELess together with other partners from food industry to find the good answers to these questions, which provide no lose in level of food safety, but could deliver a higher level of sustainability in the food chain. So after answering this kind of questions one by one, we have decided to go for a public campaign and not just a workshop with other stakeholders, and we called it Project WASTELess. This project was not the first one in Hungary, because the Hungarian Food Bank Association started its operation in 2005, and they have founded the Food is Value Forum 1 year before our concept. we take part in this stakeholder forum together with the Ministry of Agriculture and all of the significant food chain representative bodies are taking part in the consultations of this forum. It still works, and it is still the most important stakeholder forum in this field in Hungary. We have written a proposal to the EU Commission about our project, but for the first time we didn't win. We have won funding the next year in 2016. We could learn a lot of experiences from the first application, because we received very good feedbacks from the reviewers. Then we have started the project, and within 3 years, the EU Commission recognized our efforts, especially in childhood education, and asked us to be the host of the EU platform conference on food losses and food waste. And we could meet 2 EU commissioners in Hungary for this event. And 1 year later, we were invited to take part in the EU platform on food losses and food waste. And sorry for joining a bit late for this session, but the meeting of this forum was still in place, and I hoped that we could finish a bit earlier, but of course I left the meeting to be with you because we agreed on our timing, and I didn't want to be late too much. So it is also a very active part of the project even nowadays. In 2020, WASTELess was declared to be the national level food prevention program of Hungary, which was a good news for all EU countries have to nominate national level food waste prevention program. So we are really glad that Hungary decided that WASTELess will be this one. And this year we have submitted household food waste data to the EU Commission. As you all probably know, that EU member states have to report food waste statistics about the year 2020 until June of 2022. I just wanted to highlight some data about the project, and I'm going to share all the slides with you later on. So we have received about 60% of EU contribution, and the total budget was about €1 million. In this project, it was the first live project of our institution, and we decided to go for a single beneficiary project. And instead of finding more beneficiaries, we wanted to broaden the scope with inviting several stakeholders. It was meant to be a national level program initially, but thanks to this project, we were able to meet with other similar initiatives in Europe. So we could build friendships, and we could learn a lot of experience from abroad. I would like to introduce the 4 segments of the project structure. One of the most significant one is the consumer campaign, and the second one is the school program. These two represent about 70% of our work in regard to this project. We collected good practices and we are still keen on disseminating them to different level of food chain safety actors, especially from industry, retail, and catering. We work also with communities, NGOs especially, and we put a significant effort to networking. As I mentioned, we are collaborating with the EU platform on food losses and food waste. And recently, we have received an invitation from GRC to work together on the issue of consumer or household level food waste reduction. The main focus is on the awareness raising. And we believe that we should start awareness raising in schools. Therefore, we have developed a school program designed to children between 10 to 12 or 14 years of age. All materials are translated to English and free to be used. You can check them on our webpage, which will be highlighted later on. Up to now, we were able to reach more than 10,000 children personally during school classes or school camps. Actually, we reached more than 900 teachers, and we could provide printed and online documents for more than 400,000 children. So we were efficient to target a whole generation of future consumers. This is the main focus at this moment of the project. Just some pictures about this school events and summer camps. This photo was taken before the COVID pandemic. During the COVID pandemic, we announced online quiz contests, and as you can see, children could win personal gifts, of course, and they could win a composting bin for their schools, which can help also the education on sustainability. This year, we have announced the Educational Ambassadors program in the National Food Chain Safety Authors, which is open for all kind of teachers, from nursery schools up to secondary school teachers. Their activity should be based on our educational materials, and we ask them to report on their activities, and the best of them could win the Educational Ambassador title from NEBIH, our institution. And you can see 3 faces. They are the current educational ambassadors from the pilot project we have conducted in the last 2 years. We exploit special days of the year to talk about food waste prevention. I just listed some of these special occasions, like the Earth Day, the Food Losses and Waste Prevention Day, which was recently announced by the United Nations, the World Food Day, and we also use National and religious celebrations for a cause for talking about food waste prevention, such as Christmas and Easter time. And we also tried to find connections between the COVID-19 situation and food waste prevention. We use social media. We have daily posts and weekly contests on social media. And we also, as I mentioned earlier, put a big focus on mass media communication. Up to now, we were able to reach more than 110 million of people since 2016, which means that we reached an average Hungarian person 11 times already with our food waste prevention messages. This year, we celebrated officially our 5th birthday, and for that, we have organized an extensive social media campaign with lots of competitions and challenges. And we have also celebrated the national so-called composting day together with some other partners, 2 NGOs, the Humus organization and Government, the public school. Just some examples about our Christmas issues. We also have a magazine, a quarterly magazine, a printed magazine called Kitchen Island in English, which is distributed to the major food retailer chains. If you are a shopper and finished your shopping and put the stuff into your own basket from the shopping cart, at that place you can get this magazine for free. So this is a very targeted communication. This is the last printed material of Nebich, and we have special issues in Kitchen Island about food waste prevention as well. When COVID hit the country, we realized the notion or the phenomenon of the panic shopping. People went crazy about shopping anything they could get a hand on because they were afraid of supply shortages. Fortunately, the Hungarian food chain system could provide enough food, but people bought so many foodstuffs that were totally unrealistic to get consumed before the expiry date. That's why Project WASTELess composed a guideline for food stockpiling. We gave ideas how to preserve food, how to rationalize it, what is the maximum time you should be prepared for, not more than 2 weeks, according to our advice. And you can see a good ration for an adult people for 2 weeks on this picture on the right. And this picture also stars Anna Maria Dorko, my colleague and coordinator of the Project WASTELess.
This lady is Anna Maria. This is lady in the picture is Anna Maria.
Yes, 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 Anna Maria or Annie. who takes part in this discussion. We tried to solve all the creative materials by ourselves. In Hungary, public procurement is not flexible at all. That's why we have our own photographer, graphical artists, and so on. So we try to do all the creative materials by ourselves. And we have started a program to collect donations from the citizens of food they stockpiled, but probably they would not be able to consume. And we could collect half a ton of different durable food items. And we have given it to the Hungarian Food Bank Association, which organization is a very good partner of us. I have already mentioned the different challenges about our birthday, and we had the idea to announce the challenges on the 29th of September, which is the International Day for Food Losses and Waste Prevention, and the games lasted until 16th of October, which is the World Food Day. The name of this birthday campaign was "I won't be waste." So you can see this poor potato running from the evil waste bin on the top of the screen. We went on this year during our birthday party with the demonstrations, events, fairs, even music festivals we visited. So we put a lot of energy into these activities. I have mentioned that we have good practices collected for catering, food industry, trade, and communities. You can see them in this picture. They are also translated to English and free to be downloaded from our webpage. Just a picture from the food waste platform meeting from 2018, which was visited by the Commissioner for Environment and the Commissioner of DG Sante. And of course, the Hungarian State Minister was also a special guest in this event. We have started work with GRC as core experts because GRC is very much concentrating now on the level of consumer food waste and finding out which are the best practices or elements which can be identified in actual food waste prevention programs. They would like to go for hard facts and those practices which turn out to be really efficient based on scientific scrutiny will be collected and will be recommended to all member states. And we are proud to be member of this research team. We have also a research activity. We collect data from about food waste with empirical methodologies. For instance, we conduct quantitative consumer studies, surveys, which are representative to the population of the country by age, genders, and regions. And we also monitor the household food waste by physical measurements. We have a household panel for that. The number of the panelist households is growing. You can see that we had the baseline in 2016. We repeated the measurement in 2019, and just as we speak, there is a media campaign to collect even more households. We would like to reach 200 households this year to have a reliable data about household food waste generation. The methodology for that is the Fusions methodology. You have probably all heard of the Fusions project, and they have identified the best methods for collecting information on household food waste, and we use this methodological instruction. In 2016, we identified 68 kilograms per capita per year food waste generation, which was dropped by 4% by the year of 2019. This has been a great result, because during these years, the economic expansion of Hungary was unprecedentedly high. The real income of an average people increased by 60% during these 3 years. And as you all know, that income is a factor behind food waste generation. So, and I would also like to draw your attention on the chart on the right side. You can see the composition of food waste we have analyzed. The blue part is the inedible part, or with other words, the unavoidable part, such as chicken bone or apple core, or peel of potato, or egg shells, or coffee remaining materials. So these can't be prevented. This is the unavoidable part. And the red part is the avoidable, which we call in fact food waste. We can do nothing, we should do everything about it to prevent the generation of this part. This part is being wasted because of the low level of attention of the households, such as rolls or half of an apple which has started to be rotten, and so on, stored foodstuffs. And you can see a small segments indicated with green. This part is between the two big parts. This is the conditionally preventable part, because some of the citizens just could not eat some food materials, such as some people is having a bad time with digesting fatty parts of chicken or chicken skin. Some others have a bad condition of teeth, therefore they are not able to chew on bread peel. So this is constituted by materials which could be edible by nature, but for some specific reason, the actual consumer is not able to eat it. We are not dealing with this part in the project. We are concentrating only on the food waste part, which is the target and has to be decreased. We have other categorization as well, such as we measure the solid state and liquid state of food waste, and also we measure that how much percentage of food waste is composted or given to household animals as well. I wanted to present the top 3 categories. The first in this top list is the meal, the ready-to-eat food. The next one is of the fruits and vegetables, and the third one are the bakery products. You can read much more about this kind of research activities in the under the references listed here, or I would be happy to talk about it after the presentation or any other time. So as a summary, I would like to stress that we put a lot of effort on intensive press communication that builds proactively on important events and days, and also on original research data. This research data is very well accepted and appreciated by journalists. We also conduct a school program for having long-term impacts, and we believe that this is the most important part of Project WASTELess. Through children, we can effectively reach their parents as well, and it has got a very good communication value as well. So journalists also like to write articles about our school events. We conduct the social media activities. From this year, we have a new colleague in this part. So we tried to double the effort in this field. We go on with the cooperation in the food chain, national and on international levels as well. And some words about the future of our project. After it has been selected to be the National Food Waste Prevention Program, we receive some funding from the Ministry of Agriculture. It is enough for the basics, but we would like to go further. That's why we still write Life and Horizon Europe applications, and we are more than open to cooperate with similar initiations in Europe to exchange experiences and try to start joint projects. So, as I mentioned before my presentation, that's why I'm especially happy to spend this afternoon with you. Thank you very much for your kind attention.
Thank you very much, Dr. Gaza. We do really appreciate that you have presented a comprehensive project, very, very valuable for us. And we are looking forward. We have still one more waiting. I'm sorry, I didn't invite Natalia Kyriaki. It's from our ministry, Natalia Kyriaki. Congratulations for your project. Very, very impressive work has been done from 2016 and for 4 years. Allow me now to give the chance to our partners for a quick presentation from their part of FOODPrint project. Just take a look of the picture of Natasha Ioannou, because we are giving you our picture from Cyprus, a Mediterranean island. Okay. with the sunny background of Natasha there. I will give the floor to Anna Evgeniu for a brief presentation of the project, and then the chance to other partners to present their own parts where they work intensively in the last year. Anna, the floor is yours.
Let me share my screen. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Yes, thank you. Okay, so first I'll start by saying thank you for your presentation. It was indeed seems like a very interesting project with a lot of interesting activities. I would say that I think we've got a few similar activities as well. I'm going to give a very short presentation about our project that I would say it's still at its beginning compared to your project. And it also concerns food waste as well. Our project is called FOODPrint. It's an awareness-raising campaign to prevent and manage food waste among consumers and the food and hospitality industries. Our project takes place in Cyprus. The total budget is around 1 million euros with around 60% co-financing, and is being implemented for 32 months. The project started at the last year. We just completed the first year of our project. Dias, my company, is the coordinating beneficiary. It's a large media group in Cyprus. And as Kyriakos also already mentioned before, our partners are the Department of Environment, the Friends of the Earth Cyprus, Opinion and Action Services, the Cyprus Employers and Industrialists Federation, and Barkunas Sustainability Consultants. Just to present the challenges and objectives of our project, as I said before, our project focuses mainly on food waste, which is an issue with economic, social, and environmental implications. Specifically in the EU, around 90 million tons of food are wasted every year, which equals to approximately 114 billion euros. And approximately 179 kilos per person in the EU. Specifically Cyprus, it's at the top of this, of the food waste. I think we are the third country in Europe, if I'm not mistaken, with the worst food waste per person. According to the statistics of 2017, 155,000 tons of food is wasted. This is mainly because consumers tend to buy more food that they need, and also because they do not consider food waste to be a major environmental problem. Excuse me. And I would say,
Anna, I consider that we have double food waste in compared with Hungary, just to take a note for the further discussion, okay?
Okay, yeah, I'm not sure about compared to Hungary, but we are among the top countries. Yeah. So I think that's a big problem in Cyprus, and it's important to change this. So the main objective of our project is to try to reduce food waste by raising public awareness. Our target groups are the general public throughout Cyprus, focusing on consumers, households, and the youth. We are also going to focus on businesses and professionals of the food and hospitality industry, national, local, and other organizations, as well as policymakers in Cyprus, as well as in the EU. And just to give a description of our activities, and then the other partners will go into more detail. We've implemented, or we're going to implement a research on the current situation regarding food waste in Cyprus. We're going to implement a large communication campaign using online media, TV, printed press, and other media. Of course, we've started with our communication campaign, but the main part will be implemented next year. We're in the process of preparing a lot of the material that will be used for the campaign, including TV spots. We're going to use some influencers to create TV spots encouraging people to reduce food waste. And we're going to also create a TV show with recipes focusing on providing people with tips on how to reduce food waste. Also, we're going to implement seminars for primary school children, and as well as consultations with companies, professionals, and organized groups. Some of these have already been implemented during the first year of the project. We're in the process of creating a cooperation network for food exchange in Cyprus, as well as an online platform, which is already running. And an award will be given to companies for using good environmental practices. And we're also looking to develop a network throughout the EU with similar programs. So this is our project. This is a summary of our project. It was a short presentation, of course. If you have any questions.
It's an introduction for the rest of the partners. Let me please give the floor now to Marios Papageorgiou to present the work already done in the field of the industries, the small and medium enterprises. Marios, the floor is yours.
Hello, everybody. I want just to say that in Cyprus, we are 1 million citizens, and every year we accept 5 million tourists. So our food waste, it's very big from the sector of food and hospitality. So I want to share my screen. You can see my screen now?
Yes, Marios, please.
Okay, I want just to say a few words about Cyprus Employers and Industrialists Federation. Cyprus Industrialist Federation has five departments: the Labor Relations and Social Policy, Business Development, Economic Affairs, Market Research and Training, European Programs, and Human Resources Advisory Services, the Department of Energy and Environmental Policies, International Enterprise Affairs and Event Management. OMB is the most representative national employer organization with more than 10,000 members, politically independent, with a mission to promote and support the benefits of Cypriot business in Cyprus, in Europe, and internationally. Its members are active in all sectors and of economy and employ more than 16% of private sector workforce. In the project of FOODPrint participate Mrs. Anthi Haralambu, that is the Director of the Energy and Environment Department, Mr. Panagiotis Kastanias, Mrs. Andri Konstantinou, and me. Now, OEB has developed an online questionnaire to gather information and record the challenges in the food and hospitality sector. And also make a consultation to discuss the rational management and treatment of food waste that is generated by business, local authorities, NGOs, and present the results from the online questionnaire. OMB has to develop a best practice guide and hold workshops and trainings to the professionals on food and hospitality sector. 5 workshops will take place in all districts of Cyprus, and we have to training 100 of professionals, and we have to give 3 annual awards. that will be given to business with good practices, motivating them to continue their actions for the reduction of the food waste. That is the work package that we have to do in the duration of the project. Thank you.
Thank you, Marios. Next of our participants, Parpuna's consultants team, our experts in the team.
Hello,
Kyriakos Parpunas. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon to everybody. Interesting project in Hungary, of course, much ahead than our project. We are more at the beginning of this journey. I represent Parpuna Sustainability Consultants. We have a background in environmental waste management for a few years now for different waste streams. And we support this project on the scientific side and research and development of the baseline, the research in the population to get the attitudes of people and the habits of people around the management of food waste. And part of the work we did so far was the consultation with local authorities. Of course, as always in the waste management issues and the municipal solid waste management issues, the municipalities have a significant role. In our case, of course, they're responsible mostly for the collection and transportation of waste, but they are also responsible either to manage or to monitor programs that are established in their areas, for example, recycling programs, separate collection of packaging, separate collection of organic waste, which is something that is coming up. The country already, yesterday actually, the legislation went through the parliament, which makes it an obligation for the local authorities to install separate collection of organics in the next few years, food waste, along with pay-as-you-throw systems. So it is an upcoming obligation, and it, of course, will be under their monitoring at least, or even on collection, organization of the collection, depending on whether they will do it directly or choose to work with the private sector. Part of the consultation was, of course, to invite the municipalities to discuss the food waste issue, to see the level of awareness, and mostly to learn also from existing initiatives, if any, in their areas with regard to food waste. Of course, it was a challenging period, as we all know, with the COVID and the a lack of the opportunity to meet with people, to invite them and have a face-to-face meeting, which we did at the end. After the lockdowns, we had the chance to invite some local authorities and discuss. But what we did is basically online consultations for the 5 different districts of the island, inviting village authorities or municipalities, because these are the 2 types of local authorities we have here. We have a small number of municipalities, small, okay, but it's a small number of municipalities and many more villages invited per district. And we had this discussion based on a consultation note, a paper that we prepared, both to collect some material from them, especially on existing initiatives in their areas for the either reduction or management of food waste. And then we had an open discussion. We presented some of the results of the research that was done so far for the project, which is different types of polls that were already performed in the beginning of the project. And we also have some ongoing polls that bring additional information as well.
Kyriakos, can I ask something in order to engage also in a direct dialogue with our Hungarian friends. Is it correct to say that we've started without a concrete baseline in Cyprus, and this was a huge challenge at the beginning?
Well,
and is it correct to say that now, according to the results we have, we are almost double in food waste in compared with Hungary? I saw that the Hungarians are almost 85 kilos per capita every year. We are double, I think, in food waste.
Yeah, well, definitely we have much higher numbers, and as we have much higher numbers in terms of total waste production, municipal solid waste. Of course, we always have to keep in mind that we are a touristic destination, and we have a much bigger size of number of people coming every year in the country compared to the local population. I remember
4 times.
Yeah, but of course it depends on the night stays as well. I remember a few years back we were doing some other calculation for another project, and we tried to calculate the night stays of the tourists in terms of an annual stay. So if they were local population, let's say, how many more people would be living on the island if the tourists were living here? And we found that it was more than 300,000 additional population. So in a population of 850, you have another 350,000 people, the equivalent of 350,000 people living here. So when you divide the numbers per capita and you count per capita the local population, of course you inflate the numbers. Of course, we are big waste producers, that we know, but there is a significant impact of the tourists on the amount of waste. Indeed, back to your question, whether we have a good baseline data, Cyprus has a problem with baseline data because there are not good measurements and seasonal measurements of waste, because of course, especially because of the tourist season, it means that we have fluctuations. In the summer period, we have much more. In the winter period, we have less. We don't have very good numbers, but based on the numbers we have and some measures that were done for different projects in the last few years, we defined the baseline, and of course we have much higher numbers than Hungary. So the problem is bigger, and of course the awareness is also low. What we found, for example, when we spoke with the municipalities, is that discussing food waste was a new thing for them, for most of them. There has been, of course, discussion in the last few years for other waste streams because of the obligations towards the legislation that reflects the European legislation. So we have been discussing packaging, some of the hazardous waste, electrical and electronic, batteries, cars, and things like that. But food waste was left behind in the sense that, okay, this is organic, it will compost even in the landfill and so on. So we never really spoke about the impacts of this waste stream, which is the very high emissions in CO2 and CH4 and so on. So it was something, yeah.
Yeah, because I'm checking the time. I hope that we can stay
a
little more than what we planned, because you have very interesting things to say. Now, let me give the floor to Natasha Ioannou, because we have
just before closing,
yes.
one of the issues that came out of the consultation is that there is very little initiatives already, very fragmented. So there is significant room for initiatives to minimize and manage food waste.
Thank you very much, Kyriakos Parpounas. Definitely, we have to stay in touch with Dr. Kaza for research and exchange of good practices on that. Let me give the floor to Natasha Ioannou, because we have huge challenges on the social dimension of our project, meaning namely that we have to establish at least a pilot program for exploiting food waste for vulnerable parts of the society. Natasha Ioannou, the floor is yours. What we are trying to do, what are the key challenges, if you can tell us more.
Thank you, Kyriakos, for the floor. Just a little bit of a research. My background is one of the beaches in Lara in the National Park in Paphos. So this is what we're trying to also promote as an NGO to conserve our species as well. So we are Friends of the Earth Cyprus, an NGO established in the early 90s, and we are working a lot on public awareness on different environmental campaigns, plus a lot of advocacy work. So we meet with policymakers, we meet with decision makers in order to promote our values and in order to have a healthy planet in all aspects and in all spectrums of the environment. We are members of Zero Waste Europe and Friends of the Earth Europe. So we have a lot of friends and partnerships with several members in Hungary as well, Friends of the Earth Hungary and Zero Waste Hungary. So we have been involved in the waste arena for quite some time. Along with the Life FOODPrint, we are also organizing and implementing another project called One Community at a Time. And we're working with the municipality in Limassol, in Iptonas, in order to make that municipality the first zero waste municipality in Cyprus. So our actions for the Life FOODPrint and what we are called out to do is to create collaboration spaces in order for the stakeholders to be able to exchange information and create these links in order to reduce food waste. So we're organizing stakeholder meetings one-on-one. We present to them the project, all the research that has been done by OEV, all the research that has been done by Parpunas consultants. And then we are trying to look for ways in order to include them in a collaboration network. And we also created the collaboration platform that it's online on the project website. And now I am sharing my screen, I think. Okay. So the aim of the platform is to promote networking and different collaborations and have a space when the food donors and the food receivers can communicate and they can come in contact. Food donors include organizations, businesses, all the other stakeholders in which there is systematic or occasional availability of surplus food. And food receivers can include organized initiatives, NGOs, municipalities, and all different other stakeholders that can provide and can receive food, or they can be active in food redistribution to people in need. We are using this platform as a tool. So this is how it looks like, and this is the link so far. And there's 3 different types that you can register on the platform: as a food donor, so you give food; as a receiver; and also as a conscious consumer or as an individual. So these individuals can register, accept food donations or provide food donations for other people in the community. The food donor user are usually bigger organizations, supermarkets, restaurants, all the other catering services, while the food receivers are charities, as I said before, NGOs that they can receive the food and can redistribute it later. These are some technicalities. I will not tire you with this, how to register on the platform. And so we are basically also what Kyriakos was saying before. This is also a tool in order to have a baseline, because it's the first time this platform has been operating, and it will give us a lot of data and a lot of information in how much food waste there is in the household plus in the industrial level. This platform so far is is not automatic. It does not. I mean, the food donor and the food receiver cannot automatically connect because we want to have the first interaction and have an idea of what is going on. So we wanted to have a little bit of a control of the situation, especially on the food safety and the healthy food issues. So this was one of our concerns. So it wasn't an application. This is why it became a platform. And then we are presenting this platform to stakeholders, and we're asking them what are the needs of their actions or the activities, how they want to be registered on the platform, how this platform can provide solutions for their needs on food waste, and what are the issues they have encountered so far in donating or receiving food. So all this feedback that we get from the meetings, we try to incorporate in the platform or like record them so far. And then we're going to look into developing a different version of the platform that can be more operable, let's say, on the automatic level. But so far, since it's the same as I said before, since we have no idea who could register, so we needed to have this control. So all people that register, they come to the Friends of the Earth Cyprus email. We see who they are, we see where they're located. The people that donate are being matched with the people that are received on the same postcode. So we don't have a lot of going back and forth of food, and also have these food safety issues. Plus, there is a lot of big organizations that want to just establish themselves and register themselves on the platform, and that they are open to donations, so other people, other charities can contact them and they make their arrangements one-on-one. This is it from me, Kyriakos.
Thank you, Natasha. Thank you really much. If we want to put things together now, everything we have exchanged, what we are planning to do, Dr. Kaza, will you be available for a follow-up meeting in the coming, let's say, in 3 months' time, in order to check whether we can, of course, we have to stay in touch. We are very, very much interested to form close collaboration with you in a future project, one. Secondly, I would say, based on what you heard, do you define some areas in which you believe you can give us added value input from your experiences? I am saying, as a principle, that I consider your work, since you are representing the Food Chain Safety Office, maybe you can help us more on how to implement our pilot platform for distribution of food and establish a better connection between those who want to give food to vulnerable groups. Secondly, I would say that the work done by the Federation of the Employees and Industrialists might serve as a good practice from our side to your projects. I don't know if you have engaged industrialists and small and medium enterprises in your project and how you have done it. We are a small country, and our partner, the Federation of Employees and Industrialists, are very, very efficient in this field, and we'll see how it works. And thirdly, the team of Kyriakos Parpounas and myself, we are working a lot to create a calculator which someone can enter in and insert data and evaluate his own behavior, how much I spent. Maybe in this field you can give us some input if you have any, etc. Of course, material for communication, especially this material which is translated in English and we can utilize them. We are very, very much open to distribute them also in our country. We have 25% English-speaking persons here, migrants and others. That's my thoughts for a follow-up of our meeting.
Thank you very much. Of course, I'm open to a follow-up in 3 months, and also open to keep in touch in respect of current activities you are actually working at. And I have heard very inspiring introductions, and I realized that this is only an introduction, I think, from both sides, especially from your side, because I just could hear information from the surface you are into, and I'm keen on having more experience in your activities and more insight later on. Just made some notes. For instance, I will collect all the English versions of our materials, and I will send an email about it. And also, I wanted to indicate that the research data I have reported is just covering the household area, not the entire food chain, because, and it connects to the presentation of Kyriakos Partounas, that it is really a huge challenge to get information on every segment of the food chain. We are trying, but seems impossible sometimes, especially collecting information from food industry, because it's a very diverse segment of the economy, and having a good sample is challenging in itself. And I'm not speaking about data collection, but just to make a good sample of food industry. Unfortunately, our project is concentrating on household food waste. So it's not our job, it's the job of the Ministry of Innovation and Technology, but we try to help them as advisors in this process. Our data was collected from the household level, and in this respect, I would like to offer any help I can provide, because we managed to collect the data 2 times, and this is the 3 times we are doing that. And we were able to publish it in academic journals as well. And these are points of reference in regard to Hungarian data reported to the EU Commission and also to the UNEP database. And I deal with university teaching, especially PhD students, and if you have any connections in Cyprus with universities, and maybe if we get lucky, we could find a talented young ambitious person who would like to make a PhD about this issue, because it is a research job. So it would be a good way to run a 5 years project just on the research. I think to include a PhD student. We did that, and it worked out very well. School programs, as Kyriakos made reference to that, we have the English versions. This will be part of our email, and we have some creative materials as well. Maybe I will send you the Hungarian versions, and you can browse. And if you like some of them, we will send you the editable form of that material, and you can change the text. You can use this material as a template. This was majorly financed by the LIFE project, so its mission to be a public good, and if we could provide you any help, we would be very proud of that. You had a question about the stakeholders included in the Hungarian project. We have a stakeholder list of those organizations which collaborated with us. We had the responsible food industry association, which is the representative body for food industry. This is a big one. We also had the organization for retail companies and the National Retail Association. These two associations are representing the 90% of food trade, food retail in Hungary. We invited academic institutions and research institutions. We also have two representative bodies from catering and restaurants. One is responsible for workplace and school catering and hospitals and so on. So this organized catering, public catering, and the other is more interested in the private restaurants. It's good to have both of them on the board. I ask Ani, is there anyone else I have forgotten to mention?
I think you covered all of them.
Yeah, maybe I wanted to make a reference to the caritative organizations like the National Food Bank Association, and we made contact with the big religious organization, and three of them, and we have good connection with some municipalities which are keen on providing food for people in need. So we were not so lucky to have only a few stakeholders, which are very efficient, but we had to share this desk with many stakeholders. It was when we had meeting, it was 20 people around the table about.
Do you run any project related to food waste or generally environment during this period?
We are running the afterlife period of Project WASTELess. We have an Age 2020 project, which is called Food Are Us, or Food RAS. This is about two supply chains. One is the bakery products, and the other is fresh salads. It's an international project, and we try to, as you mentioned, our job here is to provide the food safety measures for the innovators in this project. And we have submitted a Horizon Europe project recently about food waste prevention as a social norm. This was the topic. It is mainly about food consumer research and how to make an impact on the thinking of consumers. And I have reported that GRS, the Joint Research Center, GRC of the EU Commission, recently started a project about consumer level food waste prevention. And I was invited as a core expert into this research group. These are the current projects on food waste reduction, and we are going to submit a proposal for the next life deadline, which will be about workplace food waste prevention.
The easiest way to have a follow-up in our meeting is to focus on a future joint application, I would say. Secondly, let's exchange and stay in touch with the existing material after live, your material, as already mentioned by Anna Evgeniu. Very soon we will have some new products from our FOODPrint project. We have also educational material to publish in the coming months, and videos and this kind of stuff. We can exchange them. And I hope that we can stay in touch, Dr. Kaza, having in mind that we have much to benefit from your experience, and maybe we have a chance to establish permanent channels of communication and do something together in the near future, and joint application, etc.
I would be really glad to have this permanent channel with you, and especially if we could make joint proposals for next EU calls and exchange the materials with each other. And I have one additional comment. I wanted to make it a bit earlier to the project which was presented by Natasha. We are working together with the National Food Bank Association, which has got some similar approach, and we have also in the process of studying another initiation which will be based on an online system similar to yours, to which the donors and the caritative organizations could join. For the first stage, it would not be open for individuals. Maybe later on, it will open the doors for individual persons. And we are studying the food safety and traceability and food law issues in regard to that project. So I would be really interested to exchange experience about it.
Mm-hmm. Any other final note from our partners participating? Do you wish to say anything? That's a promise. We stay in touch, definitely. And many thanks, Dr. Kaza, for your openness and readiness to share experiences with you. Maybe Hungary and Cyprus will join forces soon. Let's stay in touch. Many, many thanks for your contribution. We exchanged some emails as a follow-up after this meeting, and we focus on a next joint effort, maybe a live program, a Horizon program, whatever. We are very much open to cooperate. Okay.
Thank you very much. Thank you for organizing this great session.
Can you open the cameras, please, to take a picture if you want the final picture of everyone. Γεια σου, Anna Maria. Anastasia, if possible, Natalia. If not, okay, it's not a problem. Thanks all. I'm taking the picture just for my records. Thanks all. Have a nice weekend, and let's stay in touch. Thank you very much, Dr. Kaza. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
See you
Bye.
soon.
Bye.
Bye.